Welcome back to Chow Time Pod. It's your host, Red. I got a video today from Psychax. I'm so excited. We're going mainstream to a whole nother level now. Now, a doctor that wasn't really for the movement and thought the movement was for, dusty type men. He'll go over his reasoning for it. He's changed his mind after he has traveled. Imagine that, guys. Changing your mind after you actually have experienced another country. Please subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. Let's get to that chow. It's chow time.
I'm Dr. Orion Taraban, and this is Psychax, Better Living Through Psychology. And the topic of today's short talk is passport bros and international dating. So this is a topic that has come up frequently in the comments of several of my videos, and it's a topic that I've been requested to discuss by many people over the last several months. If you're unfamiliar with the subject, passport bros is the collective term for a movement among Western and specifically American men who are increasingly pursuing mating and dating opportunities abroad. These are guys who are flying to places like South America and Southeast Asia and the Middle East in order to access sexual opportunities that...
At least he gets the definition right, so he kind of knows exactly what it is. Unlike other people where they don't even actually know what passport bros truly means and entitles.
They argue aren't available in their home country. And I'm going to respond to this phenomenon through the lens of my recent experiences spending a month in the country of Japan. Now, I'm not very knowledgeable about this phenomenon, but to be honest, there was always something about the passport bros movement that felt a little sleazy and pathetic. Without really examining it, my perspective was similar to the prevailing attitude, which was something like this movement was for guys who were too low status or unattractive to beat out their intrasexual competition here. They couldn't get laid in the States, so they basically engage in geo-arbitrage to leverage a relative advantage that wouldn't exist in their home country. My attitude was something like only guys who couldn't get what they want from women here would need to uproot their whole lives and travel halfway around the world.
That is how actually most people assume passport bros is. They really do think that we are the undesirables, that we were not able to compete against other men in this country to be with women. And then that is sorely not the case. What I think it's weird that he's a good looking man and he's very successful. I'm sure dating here is not that hard for him, but he goes over how different you get treated in another country as a man. I talk about this a lot. I always say, how other countries treat men. The US is so different because we're literally a matriarchy, where most other countries are true patriarchies.
Which kind of made these men out to be conniving beta males.
Now, again, I somewhat understand now why people assume this about us and our movement now. Because even a logical, well-educated man that didn't know much about the movement, just being told about the movement, that's his automatic assumption of how it is. Why? Because they have never experienced it themselves. They have never traveled to certain countries. They've never dealt with other women.
That was my attitude before spending a month in Japan. That is no longer my attitude now.
And shout outs to the doc for admitting he's wrong. This is what he thought before. This is what he thinks now after he's traveled, after he experienced Japan for a whole month. Just only a month, guys. 1 month can change this man's mind. 1 month.
Having spent a month in that country, I think I better understand where this movement might be coming from. And I definitely don't think it's just for loser men who can't get laid in America.
Thank you, Doctor.
Allow me to explain.
Thank you.
From the perspective of my interests and preferences, the quality of the women in Japan was significantly superior.
Woo! That's all we needed him to say. That's all we needed him to say. That's one of the biggest ones right there. significantly, significantly superior. That means it's almost uncomparable of Japanese women and American women. How significant the difference is.
To the quality of the women in the Bay Area, like not by a little, by orders of magnitude.
I love dog. Orders of magnitude. I'm not a big word kind of guy, but when I hear orders of magnitude, I think of moving mountains size fucking differences.
Let me break down some of the various factors
Please,
that go
Doc,
into
please.
that statement.
Tell the man.
First of all, the women in Japan are slender and physically healthy. I spent
What? So they actually care about their size and health compared to here? Doc, say no mo.
a month in some of the largest cities in the world, and I must have seen 10 overweight women in that entire time.
I could go to Disneyland and probably see thousands of overweight people inside little Scooty Puff Juniors.
Half of whom were little old ladies. And these overweight women weren't morbidly obese. They were like plump, maybe 20 or 30 pounds.
Overweight for them is plump. And I'm pretty sure most men are okay with plump.
Overweight max. Most Western women literally couldn't buy clothes in Japan. The vast majority of Japanese women are slender and physically fit, which is appealing because it's not only attractive, but it indicates a compatible value as well.
No, we knew this. We knew that other countries don't fit sizes for American women. I used to cover videos of women complaining about them traveling and they're scared of losing their luggage because then they would only have one set of clothes because there's no sets of clothes over there in those countries for them. That's what you want to deal with when you pick a wife, when you go travel, that she's only going to have one set of clothes or she can't buy anything or do anything in these countries.
Like, I want people who care about their health. Second, these women are feminine. They wear dresses and heels and makeup.
What? So there's a difference in how feminine they are? Doc, isn't that what we've been saying?
They tend to dress more conservatively than Western women. No tight clothes, no showing a lot of skin. The feminine ideal there seems to be like softly elegant,
That it is.
flowing and modest and dignified. And these aren't 1950s housewives. These are women who, for the most part, are working professionals. They have modern ideas. They are educated and accomplished, but they haven't thrown out more traditional conceptualizations of female beauty. This is not something you can easily find in the West anymore, and you can't find it at all in the Bay Area, at all.
And there you go. You can't, even through his own experience, he said it. In the Bay Area, you cannot find this type of women at all. So wouldn't it make sense to travel somewhere where you have a chance of catching this type of woman? Like, it is a fisherman game, correct? Like, people always want to use it as, well, you got to talk to the fisherman. It's the fisherman. The fisherman catches the fish. Do you realize fishermen do not go to the same watering hole to fish every single goddamn time? Especially if they're catching certain fish. If I want a halibut, I definitely got to go somewhere into the ocean. If I want a fucking, salmon, I definitely want to go to a river stream somewhere. So if I want a nice, soft, cooperative, feminine, fit wife, I need to go where there is an abundance of them to be able to catch easily, instead of wasting my time and effort sifting through all of this fucking tilapias everywhere.
All. And I find feminine women very attractive. It resonates with me and inspires me to be even more masculine.
I agree.
Now, before I go any further, if you're liking what you're hearing, please consider sending this episode to someone who might benefit from its message, because it's word of mouth referrals like this that really help to make the channel grow. You can also hit the thanks button and tip me in proportion to the value you feel you derive from this episode. It's your donations that make all this possible. I don't do the product placements and the corporate sponsorships of other channels of this size. And trust me, I get like 50 different offers a day. This helps me stay independent, and it helps me to do what I need to do to keep the channel going.
No, shout outs to Psych Hacks. I'm proud of him for doing that. I'm not a big fan of people using product placements and stuff all the time. I get offers here and there. I mean, I'm a smaller channel. I have not accepted any of them just because I don't really want to push anything on you guys. Maybe I'll push some fight nights and stuff that I'm hosting with Dan Henderson in Temecula just to like promote it a little bit. But that's just for you guys to go enjoy, an MMA fight with Dan Henderson, and I'll introduce you guys to Dan and stuff too. So, I mean, I don't make money off of it. It's just I support that organization. And I just think people that are selling courses, trying to like do all these things, they don't truly care about the community as much. I'm not saying they don't care. I just want to build the community up. I'm not gonna really take any corporate sponsors or anything like that. The only thing I have is the membership. It's only $5. If you guys like me, thanks. If not, it's okay. Just watch for free.
So thank you very much for your support. All right. Third, the women in Japan are extremely respectful. Every woman I interacted with there was extremely warm and friendly.
The things he's going over is just like so shockerish to hear him say it. And it's like, we've been saying this for like this whole goddamn time. I've been saying this for almost a whole year now. Like, yeah, they're so, I always talk about this. Respect factor. Respect factor is huge, and it's so different in other countries, especially Asian countries. I talk about respect factor all the time. He is blown away. This white, older, well-established gentleman is blown away at how respectful these women are. Think about it, guys. Think about it. This gentleman has something so greatly to say about their respect factor.
They were receptive to conversation, and they seemed to enjoy, or at least very effectively pretended to enjoy, speaking with me. Even more, they were solicitous about my feelings and seemed concerned that I should enjoy the interaction as well.
What? I should enjoy talking with you just as much as you enjoy talking with me? What a concept!
I didn't experience a single indifferent or disrespectful word, tone, or glance from a woman in a month.
That is mind-blowing. I can walk outside today and I'll probably get those looks at least 2 times out of the whole day if I'm out all day. At least 2 times. This guy in a whole month has not experienced it once? You must be in paradise, my son, my good sir.
This made approaching and talking to women in Japan a much less fraught experience than it is in the US.
Yep.
The women I spoke to seemed to take pleasure in the attention and in the dialogue. Nothing about the interaction indicated that they were annoyed or offended that I was interested in talking to them.
Shout out to Sakak again. The way he's breaking down all of these points and explaining everything. This video is gonna go viral. Hopefully. I saw Passport Pops do something on this particular video. So shout out to Passport Pops for fucking covering it too. I think a lot of us Passport Bros are gonna be covering this video. So this is an important milestone for Passport Bros, in my opinion. Huge milestone.
Fourth, while a kind of chivalry exists in Japan, it's an inverted version of what we have here. In Japan, men come first.
And this is what I was talking about. How other countries treat men. It is not the same as how we are treated here. We are seen as higher beings in other countries. We are seen as the protectors and the providers and the people that actually built the country. They give us that level of respect knowing that men had to deal with these things. That's not how it is here.
Women come second. It's difficult to appreciate how deeply the romantic ideology permeates our manners until you go to a completely different culture. For instance, one day I was walking towards the main entrance of a building at pretty much the same time as a woman. My natural instinct was to get there first and hold the door open for her. However, when I did so, she refused to walk through it, making a show of great embarrassment. And I later realized that in that culture, it would have been embarrassing for her if I had allowed myself to disrespect myself in that way for her sake. Another example. Many years ago, I spent
Say no more. Say no more.
some weeks in Japan studying Buto dance in an immersive program. The first night of the program, at the General Assembly, we heard a long speech on how the organizers miscalculated the number of futons they needed for the students. Apparently, there would not be enough beds for everyone, so the women would have to sleep on the bare floor without cushions or sheets until the problem was rectified.
Isn't that crazy, guys? That men get the beds first over women, and women have to deal with it. That is not how it is here. Women and children first, always here.
Now, there were a couple other Westerners in the audience, and I remember we were just looking at each other in disbelief. To say we were shocked would not be an understatement. The idea that the women were going to sleep on the ground while the men were going to sleep in the beds felt completely unnatural to us. However, our way of doing things is just as unnatural to Japanese sensibilities.
And this is where I talk about it. Culture, guys. Culture. The difference in culture, the difference in people is so unbelievable. It really is. Listening to this doctor, PhD of psychology over here, talking about it as if it was something so new that he's never experienced before, that it's so different that he's just like mind blown by it. Imagine you guys. Imagine normal average Joes like us. Imagine guys that are trying to make it, trying to get there. So imagine the guys that are at the 100K that don't want to deal with women here. And they actually get to travel and see all those things. Why the fuck would they ever want to come back? Why the fuck would they ever want to deal with women here? Again, I'm stupid. I admit it. I'm a fucking idiot. I still want to deal with women here. I'm still going to date here and there. But it's not going to last. I don't think it is. I don't see myself finding someone. But I'm willing to put the effort out there. That's just me personally. I don't suggest it to you guys because I know you guys don't want to.
That's starting to change more and more as Western ideologies continue to infiltrate Japanese society. But the important thing here is to understand that a lot of what many people believe to be the natural dynamic between men and women is really very culturally bounded and culturally specific.
Makes sense.
And to be honest, it felt good to be honored for being a man. Like, it's not a bad thing to be a man in Japan.
Not. It's wonderful to be a man. We go through trials and tribulations. We go through a lot of shit. But I would still rather be a man than a woman any day.
In fact, it seems to come with some privileges that are more commensurate to the responsibilities that men generally take on.
What?
So let's recap. On the whole, Japanese women are slender and physically fit, feminine and demure, friendly and courteous, and respectful and appreciative. Not all Japanese women, I'm sure, but the vast majority of them, as far as I could tell.
Vast majority of them. That means I can just throw a line out there and I'll most likely get one that fits those criterias automatically. Now try to think about that here in the States. How many times am I going to throw that line? And that line's going to get shredded almost every single time I throw it out there. Never get to take anything back in.
When I spoke with them, the feeling I got was that they felt lucky to be interacting with me, which is a total reversal of the attitude you generally encounter in the West. I've gone on a lot of dates in my day, and the prevailing vibes were either A, that I should feel lucky that the woman was allowing me to buy her a drink, or B, that the woman needed to make sure I could give her what she wanted by conducting the date like a job interview. There's a lot of entitlement and narcissism here. It's all about her. On the other hand, my sense is that in Japan, women feel grateful for the opportunity to be there.
Which makes
grateful
sense.
for the opportunity to be considered as a potential partner.
I mean, if you think about it, as men, if someone randomly came, hey, I'm gonna take you out. Let's go grab some dinner. Nothing sexual or anything, just taking you out to dinner. Wouldn't us men, as men, be grateful? Like, oh shit, you gonna take me out to dinner? Oh fuck yeah, dude. I appreciate that. Like, wouldn't you appreciate it? It's just weird that women don't. Women expect it, right? That's the issue that men have. It's that they are entitled to it. Where us men, if someone was to take us out to dinner and pay for dinner, and again, if it doesn't even have to be sexual, it could be our best buddy. I'd be like, fuck yeah, free dinner. And I appreciate it. I love my buddies. They give me dinner all the time. Like, the appreciation is there. It's not there for the women. Men have it. Japanese women have it. American women? I don't know where it is.
It was extremely refreshing, to say the least. Now, I'm not a fragile guy.
Same.
I'm not a loser who can't get laid.
Same.
I'm not poor or low status
slightly.
or unattractive.
I wouldn't say poor, but I'm not well off. I'm okay.
I'm not a guy without options. I don't need to travel halfway around the world to have satisfying relationships with women.
I agree. I don't need to do it, but there's no... It's almost like shooting myself in the foot and hobbling on one leg out there just because I want to hob on one leg. Might as well just use both legs and fucking get what I want.
But I now understand why it's in men's best interest to seek out the most advantageous marketplaces.
You guys hear that? He now understands why it's most advantageous for men. So he's saying this is literally the best route for men. The doc is saying this.
It's like, regardless of whether you're a novice or a master fisherman, if you want to catch a certain kind of fish, it makes sense to go where there are more of those fishes. High value men who have lots of sexual opportunity in the West will still travel to other places where they can get more of what
Right?
they want more easily. That's not pathetic. That's rational and efficient.
I love that. Rational and efficient. That's definitely Passport Bros.
Even millionaires don't like paying more than they need to, even though they could afford to do so.
Fucking correct. I know a lot of millionaires. I wouldn't say a lot. I know a lot of I do know a few millionaires and are very wealthy people. They never pay full price. Fucking words. They never pay full price for anything. Like, I know my friend, he gets Armani suits. He doesn't pay full prices for Armani suits. Like, he goes to a person that he knows that owns a suit store or suit dealer. I'm not sure what the hell they call them. And she will give him major discounts for certain things. And he says he's never paid full price for one. And he will never pay full price for one. I am of the same way. If I can get something on OfferUp that's somewhat used, but still good quality and still good condition for 50% less, you best believe I'm going to go on OfferUp and buy that shit. I don't give a fuck if it's new or not. Like, fuck that.
And Western women are extremely expensive. Men here generally have to pay more for less relative to other marketplaces. So I'm much more sympathetic to this movement after spending a month abroad. What do you think?
Woo! I'm excited. That was awesome, Chow. You don't get too many professional doctors talking about this in such a manner, especially because he was on the other side of the coin for a while until he experienced it himself. This is why I tell you guys, you need to go out there and experience it yourself. Don't take my word for it. Don't take fucking any of the passport bros' words for it. Go and see yourself. Go visit for 2 weeks. Go visit for a month. Experience how you get treated. Experience how the women are. Experience how the men are. Experience how the culture is. It is just so crazy. Please subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. And I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.